Polygon Matic's price is down over 25% over the last few weeks, and so we are about to go over exactly what is happening and why I'm actually not all that concerned. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get into some Polygon Matic. So looking at this thing, of course, it has been a rough about 2 weeks. Okay, you can see from top to bottom, we're down currently about 25%, and at the very bottom, we were down about 28.5%. Now, I know because of this, many people are voicing their concerns, saying that, Matic's run might be done, that this might be about it for Matic. We've kind of hit a bit of a top here around that $1.50 area, and of course, all of this divergence that Matic was seeing might be, coming to an end as it falls back in line with the market. And although all of that may be true, I wanted to just explain a little bit today about why I'm actually just not very concerned from a price and structural standpoint for Matic. Now, understand something. You got the Mt. Gox releases coming. You have the Shanghai upgrade that might put a lot of sell pressure on Ethereum. You have, of course, rising CPI data likely. We have worsening economic conditions in the United States right now. There are things that are impacting the market that will impact Matic, but from a purely structural perspective, again, I am not all that concerned, and let me explain why. So the reason why, and let's just get into the meat and potatoes here, of why I'm not all that concerned is because all of the amazing progress that Matic made throughout last year to allow this to not be as bad as the rest of the market. Let me explain. So what we can see from Matic is that I have a couple lines drawn on this chart. I have one at $1.15, $1.03, 92 cents, and an ascending level of support here. And the reason why I drew these lines on is because this is all of the liquidity that Matic has built up over the last couple months. What you have to understand is that as we go into these phases in these parts of the market where we get some upwardness and then a pullback and up and down and up and down and sideways, and we get these little moments of capitulation, consolidation, and this general price movement, this is all structure building. We're building all of this structure, and what happens is that structure acts very, very sticky. What happens is that as you move back down towards this structure, it gets sticky at each one of these little bitty levels here, and it allows the price to slow down on this pull to the downside rather than just straight up crashing to the downside. Let me give you an example of something that's different than this. Let's look back at Mana or Decentraland from what happened in the last bull market. What you can see is that over the course of a few days, this thing just absolutely took off, right? I mean, absolutely shot to the upside. There was no stopping it. But what happened is that as that move to the upside did happen, we start to get structure right around this point, right? You can see a little bit of structure there, structure there, structure there, structure there. Well, look how this plays out. So we start to come back down, of course, through all of this because there was not much structure there. And then we finally hit this little zone right here where we have kind of the highs and the lows, etc. And that's when we start to bounce and move and bounce and move. And we came back below it right here, which was a little scary, but we recovered. And then we bounced and moved and bounced and bounced and bounced. And we were holding up quite well. And so although this fall was ugly, we were doing a good job of holding within this little zone of stickiness. Let's just call it a zone of stickiness right here, right? And that's what was holding the price up. But remember, before that, we didn't have any structure. We just had a straight up push, meaning that there was no liquidity throughout this entire level. And you can see is that the moment we lost this level, we got a little double top here to back test it. We were unable to get back above it. That's when everything went south. And by south, I mean south. We went straight down from that given point forward. Now, of course, this did align with things like the lunar crash. Of course, it did align with Celsius going down. But this is no coincidence that the moment we lose our liquidity up here in this little zone, we immediately crash straight to the downside. And look, where did we start to get even some more bouncing? And where did the price start to get sticky at again for Decentraland? Back here, where we had more of this structure. So whenever you compare that to Matic, you have to realize we have a lot of structure. We have all of this resistance and all of this support sitting throughout this little zone of structure. I can even identify another one there sitting right around 85 where we were putting in loads of resistance and support back here. And what this tells me is that although Matic's price is coming down, although it is correcting, I do not believe we are in a position that we're about to see Matic just go straight through these levels and start coming back down to the 50, 40, 30 levels. I simply just don't see that happening. Is it possible for something like Bitcoin to start to see that push? Yes. Is it possible for Ethereum to see that push? Yes. So inherently, Matic could see that push. But Matic has made so much progress just over the last couple months in building all of this foundation that I simply just don't think it's going to happen. So what I want you to pay attention to is how do we interact with all of these support levels? Take a little screenshot. Let me zoom in. Take a screenshot of all of these support levels, and these are all of the points of stickiness that will very likely try to hold Matic's price up. Matic has not lost any value than it had 3 weeks ago, so it has no true intrinsic reason to see some type of strong crash towards, say, 50. And so because of that, I am expecting these different levels to hold, and I will be dollar cost averaging every single time that we do get to one. I'm going to be buying a little bit today while we're at $1.15, although it is rather likely that we do hit $1.03. That's fine with me because there is so much potential here. You want to add in even more? You can look at your golden Fibonacci range here and say that we have even more 618786 support sitting right here at 99 all the way down to 87. There is, to make it simple, a shit ton of support sitting here. And so because of that, I'm really on that concerned. Now, what I will go ahead and say is that I do believe it will be healthy for Matic to get a pullback into this little zone of liquidity back here. If you look at something like the weekly Bollinger Bands, for example, let's look at this. Go to the weekly Bollinger Bands. Here we go. Boom, we got overextended outside of it. That is true. And so as you can see, almost every time we do get extended outside of it, we will get a pull back within this zone, right? We got extended outside of it, we got a pullback. And so as you can see, again, we got a pullback here. So it's no shock that we got a pullback. It wouldn't surprise me if we came back to the 20 SMA, which is currently sitting right exactly at $1. That thing acts like a magnet. And even if we lost that, we still have so much support below us to bounce us back above it that I'm just not all that concerned, guys. And so it is no shocker here that we did get this pull to the downside. And so let me explain exactly how I'm going about this going forward and exactly how I'm going to be trading Matic going forward. And before we do continue on with the video, I wanted to let you guys know about something that I recently started doing that I thought you might find interesting. Now, you know we've been on a bit of an AI kick on the channel recently, talking about AI cryptos, going over just the revolution of AI in general, and I knew that eventually we would see AI introduced to other aspects of the crypto world, and today we're going to talk about some AI farming. Now, I do know a lot of people who do farming personally, and they said eventually AI is going to be able to do what we do, but much faster, because farming is really just arbitrage. It's really just being able to identify these different points of data, collect those points of data, and then use that data to make decisions that can make you profits, right? It's very simple, and that is something that technology can very easily replicate if it has enough data to survey. And so because of that, we have now AI farming, which again makes this process much faster, and it can be a way to make some pretty decent passive income. Now, of course, it's always not your keys, not your crypto. So this is not something that I have a lot of money on, but it is something that I put a little bit of money here and there on, because it is something that, again, I believe can make some good profits, especially over the long term. So today we're talking about Apex One AI. Now, they offer Apex AI farming and stable yield farming, and then they have Apex LTCT coming soon, which we will talk about later on. Now, what I want to talk about today is the Apex Smart Farming, because again, it is something that I do personally that I actually think has a lot of potential here. So the way in which it works is all you have to do is take your USDT or your USDC and send it over to your Apex wallet. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go up to your payments, your wallets tab here. And then once this loads, all you're going to do is click on your Apex coin and you're going to press exchange. Once you press exchange, you can then go in and take, say, I think I have some USDT on here. Let's take USDT, for example. There we go. And you're just going to exchange your USDT for some Apex coin. And then you're going to press preview and then exchange it. Very simple, very easy. So then what you're going to do is you're going to come back to the Smart AI farming protocol. And you are simply just going to enter in the amount in which you want to start farming. Let's just do 100 for example. Then you can come over and choose your smart crypto pairs. And of course, you can choose up to 5 currencies. Now, at this given point, I am doing Bitcoin and Polygon. Those are, of course, my biggest positions in my portfolio. They're the ones I trust the most. So it kind of just makes it easy. But say if I want to do something like Binance, let's do that. And you can press an overview just to see what your daily accrual interest is, your return on investment over the period of time, what your annual percentage rate is, and what your annual percentage yield is. Now, do be aware, these always go down over time whenever these platforms do get bigger. That is simply just how it goes, okay? So as you can see here, this features Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, ADA, Dash, Doge, ETH, Litecoin, Matic, etc. So some pretty high players in the game. And then what you can actually do is go in and choose the exchange that you want to work with. As you can see here, it says choose your trading exchange in which you can trade, or you can choose up to 5 exchanges. And let's keep it simple. We're doing Binance, so let's just keep it on Binance. What you're going to do is then come back over here and pick your available period. You can say 35 days. All you have to do at that given point is just press preview. And if you do like what you see in terms of fees, in terms of your exchange market fee, and your overall return on investment for, in this example, it would be 7.96. If you like that, you just press start earning, and then it goes ahead and does it for you. And then all you have to do is wait this out, and boom, just like that, it starts auto farming for you. And then once your period does end, in this example, 35 days, boom, you're done just like that. You will be able to get your money back. So I do think it's pretty awesome. I like auto farming. It is something that I've done before. Bear markets makes it a little bit more risky because some of these platforms just can't keep up. So there is always risk, not your keys, not your crypto. So always be aware of that. But I do believe this is one that could be very interesting going forward and how they use their AI. And so of course I wanted to let you guys know about it. So definitely let me know in the comment section what you think. So back to the video, let's talk a little bit again about exactly how I'm going to be trading this. Personally speaking, I am not going to be shorting Matic at any given point, probably for quite a while. And the reason being is because, as I mentioned before this morning in the newsletter, I'm just not all that confident that this market is going to crash. Sure, it could, but every time it feels like something should happen, it just simply doesn't happen. And so I'm not all that confident in shorting Matic. So as I mentioned before, my only game plan right now is to accumulate at every single one of these levels: $1.15, $1.03, 92, 85 in this ascending support level. Now, if, and that's a huge if, but if we do lose all of these levels of support, then sure, I would be willing to say, yeah, maybe a capitulation all the way back down to this previous little cup and handle pattern at 62 cents is possible, and a short trade could be a decent idea. But personally speaking, I am simply just not that confident that this thing isn't going to bounce or look to continue this move at some given point, and I'm not willing to bet against the realisticness or the realism, I guess, of what the next 24 months holds, which is very likely bullishness, even if that means in the short term we have another crash to the downside. So going forward, again, I will be continuing to accumulate at each one of these levels because they will be sticky. They're going to make it very difficult for the price to go through them, and I am confident that one of them, if not, rather soon, may bounce the price back up to the upside and continue this move for Matic as it does continue to grow its entire ecosystem. So with that said, that's going to be about it for today's video. That is my game plan, and that's why I'm not all that concerned about it. But let me know, what do you think? What do you think? Of course, they have the ZK roll-ups and all that good stuff coming soon. Is this a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Is this going to be the end of Matic's little run for now? What do you think in the comment section below? Definitely leave that down for me there, and I will see you all with another video tomorrow. Peace.